Most gardeners believe raised beds are the smartest way to grow food. They look organized, productive, and efficient. Garden centers promote them everywhere. Social media is full of perfectly framed wooden boxers overflowing with vegetables. And if you're just starting out, it feels almost wrong not to build one. But what if the very structure that looks so productive is quietly creating long-term dependency? What if raised beds, instead of freeing you, are locking you into a cycle of constant inputs, more compost, more fertilizer, more purchased soil year after year? Today, I want to show you something older, simpler, and far more powerful. An ancient growing system that doesn't just grow plants. It builds soil. It strengthens itself. And once established, it feeds itself for years without the constant need for outside inputs. This is not a trend. It's not a hack. It's a return to how fertile land has sustained life for centuries. To understand why this ancient system works, we first need to understand the hidden weakness of raised beds. At first glance, they seem ideal. You fill them with rich soil, plant your crops, and harvest beautiful vegetables. But the structure itself creates separation. The wooden or metal frame isolates the soil from the surrounding ecosystem. Earthworms have limited access. Underground fungal networks are disrupted. Natural soil migration is reduced. Over time, nutrients leave the system with every harvest, but very little naturally replaces them. That's when gardeners begin adding compost, then more compost, then organic fertilizers, then soil amendments. What started as a low-maintenance solution becomes a system that requires constant feeding. Raised beds don't regenerate themselves. They depend on you. Ancient growers approached soil differently. They didn't see it as a container to fill. They saw it as a living organism to support. If you walk through a forest, you won't find raised beds. You won't see fertilizer bags scattered under trees. Yet the forest grows year after year without human intervention. Leaves fall, branches break. With decays, fungi spread. Microorganisms thrive. And from that constant cycle of decomposition, new life emerges. The soil feeds itself because the system is closed. Nothing is wasted. Everything returns to the ground. The ancient growing method we're exploring today is built on that same principle. Instead of lifting soil above the earth and isolating it, this system builds downward and inward. At its foundation are logs, branches, and woody debris materials many gardeners throw away or burn. These pieces of wood become long-term nutrient reservoirs. As they slowly decompose, they feed fungi. Fungi break down complex carbon compounds into simpler forms. Bacteria follow, transforming those nutrients into plant-available elements. This underground collaboration creates a living network that stores water, releases nutrients gradually, and improves soil structure over time. One of the most powerful aspects of this system is moisture retention. Wood acts like a sponge. When it rains or when you water the bed, the buried wood absorbs and holds moisture deep below the surface. During dry periods, that stored water slowly releases back into the soil, reducing the need for frequent irrigation. Raised beds, by contrast, often dry out quickly because they are elevated and exposed on all sides. The ancient system stabilizes moisture naturally. It works with gravity, not against it. But the real magic is time. In a typical raised bed, soil quality can decline if not constantly in this ancient system. Soil quality improves each year. The first season may look modest, the second season stronger. By the third year, the underground decomposition is in full effect. The wood core has become a thriving fungal habitat. Earthworms are drawn to the decaying material. Microbial life multiplies. Instead of losing fertility, the bed gains it. Instead of becoming depleted, it becomes richer. This method is often associated with traditional European and indigenous land practices that focused on long-term soil health rather than short-term harvest volume. While modern gardening often prioritizes speed and appearance, ancient growers prioritize resilience. They understood that feeding the soil continuously through natural processes created stability, and stability meant food security. Let's break down how this system feeds itself. When woody material decomposes, it doesn't release nutrients all at once. It breaks down slowly, sometimes over several years. That slow release is critical. Plants don't need massive bursts of nutrients. They need steady availability. The fungal networks that develop around decomposing would extend far beyond the immediate area. These networks connect plant roots, allowing nutrient exchange between plants. This means stronger root systems, improved disease resistance, and better drought tolerance. In addition, the layering structure mimics the forest floor. Atch at the bottom on logs and branches. Above that, smaller sticks and twigs. Then a thick layer of leaves, grass clippings, or organic waste. On top, compost or existing soil. Each layer serves a function. The bottom provides long-term carbon storage and moisture retention. The middle layers create air pockets and encourage microbial diversity. The top layer supports immediate plant growth. Over time, gravity and decomposition merge these layers into a unified, living soil system. One concern people often raise is nitrogen drawdown, the idea that decomposing would temporarily absorb nitrogen. While this can occur in the first year, it is easily balanced by adding a layer of nitrogen-rich materials such as compost, manure, or green plant waste above the wood layer. Once decomposition stabilizes, the system reaches equilibrium, and after that point, it becomes increasingly Compare this with raised beds again. With raised beds, when nutrients drop, you must add more from outside sources. With the ancient system, nutrients are generated internally through decomposition. With raised beds, soil often compacts over time and must be loosened or replaced. In the ancient system, fungal activity and worm tunnels naturally aerate the soil. With raised beds, moisture fluctuates rapidly. In the ancient system, moisture is buffered by the wood core. Now let's talk about building it. The beauty of this method is its simplicity. You don't need expensive lumber. You don't need screws or hardware. Start by selecting a garden area directly on the ground. Lay down logs or thick branches in a mound shape or trench. Fill gaps with smaller sticks. Add layers of leaves, grass, clippings, and kitchen scraps. Cover everything with several inches of soil or compost. Water thoroughly to initiate microbial activity, then plant directly into the top layer. That's it. No framing required. No precise measurements. Nature doesn't require perfect geometry. During the first season, focused on crops that tolerate rich, slightly unstable soil squash, pumpkins, beans, potatoes. Their strong root systems will help integrate the layers. By the second season, you can plant leafy greens, tomatoes, peppers, and more sensitive crops. As the internal ecosystem stabilizes, productivity increases. Another advantage is cost. Raised beds require lumber, hardware, soil purchases, and often landscape fabric. This ancient method uses materials that are often free. Fallen branches, autumn leaves, plant waste. Instead of hauling organic matter away, you return it to the ground. Instead of buying fertility, you build it. Over time, something remarkable happens. The boundary between bed and ground disappears. The system integrates fully with the surrounding soil. Earthworms move freely in and out. Mycorrhizal fungi extend beyond the original area. What began as a constructed mound becomes a natural extension of the land itself. That integration is the secret to self-feeding soil. Isolation weakens systems. Connection strengthens them. Of course, there are mistakes to avoid. Never use treated or chemically treated wood, as toxins can leach into the soil. Avoid adding large amounts of synthetic fertilizer, which can disrupt microbial balance. And resist the urge to constantly dig and disturb the layers. The power of this system lies in minimal interference. Once built, let biology take over. You may wonder why this method isn't promoted more widely. The answer is simple. It reduces dependency. When your soil feeds itself, you buy less. Fewer soil amendments, fewer fertilizers, fewer replacements. It shifts gardening from consumption to regeneration. And regenerative systems don't generate repeat customers the way consumable products do. But the real reason to adopt this method isn't rebellion, it's resilience. Climate patterns are becoming less predictable. Water availability fluctuates. Soil degradation is a global issue. Systems that store moisture, build carbon, and regenerate fertility are not just efficient, they are necessary. Ancient growers understood cycles, they understood patience, and they understood that true abundance doesn't come from constant input. It comes from balanced ecosystems. When you build this system, you are not just planting vegetables. You are cultivating soil life. You are creating habitat for fungi, bacteria, insects, and worms. You are building a microforest floor in your garden, and every season that passes strengthens it. So is it truly better than raised beds? For gardeners seeking long-term fertility, lower maintenance over time, improve moisture retention, and reduce dependency on external inputs? The answer is yes. Raised beds offer control and structure. This ancient system offers regeneration and even. One is a container. The other is a living organism. If you're willing to think beyond frames and boxers, beyond straight lines and store-bought soil, you'll discover something powerful. Soil does not need to be controlled. It needs to be supported. When you mimic nature instead of isolating it, the system begins to work for you. And once it reaches maturity, it continues feeding itself year after year. This is not about abandoning modern gardening. It's about integrating ancient wisdom into modern spaces. Whether your garden is large or small, the principles remain the same. Layer organic matter, encourage decomposition, protect the soil surface, and disturb as little as possible. Let fungi weave their networks. Let worms tunnel. Let microbes multiply. Give the system time, because that is the final secret. Time is the ingredient most gardeners overlook. Raised beds promise immediate results. Ancient systems promise lasting ones. If you invest one season in building the foundation, the returns compound year after year. The soil grows richer. The harvest grows stronger. The need for intervention grows smaller. Better than raised beds is not a slogan. It's a shift in philosophy. It's choosing regeneration over replacement. It's building soil that feeds itself instead of soil that constantly asks to be fed. And once you see the difference, not just in plant growth, but in soil texture, moisture, stability, and long-term fertility, you'll understand why ancient growers trusted this method for generations. The garden does not need more products. It needs better cycles. And when you restore those cycles, the soil does what it has always done best. It sustains life quietly, continuously, and without asking for anything in return.